started in just a moment. We have, hold on, we got like a opening act. Page 289.
Ashrei Yoshvei Beitecha, Odihalu Hasela. Tila LeDavid, Aromim Halohai HaMelech, Bavar Hashim Halelam Vaed. Gadol Adonai Hula Meod, Veligdu Ato Ein Heker. Hadar Kevod Hodecha, Vedivreini Flotecha Asiha. Zeher Rav Tukaya Biu, Vetiv Katacha Yiranenu. Tov Adonai Lakol, V'Rahamav Kol Masav. Kevod Malchut Hayom Meru, Uberat Hayid Aberu. Malchut HaMalchut Kol Olamim, Umem Shaltecha Bechol Dor Vador. Einei Hol HaHayis Aberu, Ve'atanatan Lahem Metachlam Beito. Sadik Adonai Bechol Derahav, Ve'hasid Bechol Maasav. Ritzon Yirav Yaseh, Ve'et Shavatam Yishma V'Yoshiem. Tila Adonai Yidaber Pi, Vivarech Kol Basar Shem Kadsho Le'elam Va'ed. V'anachnu nevarech Ya, Me'ata Ve'ed Olam. Hallelujah.
Wait, hold on. Page 290, please, if you're comfortable doing so, rise for the half tide.
Yitgadal, Yitgadash Merabah, Mari Rakute Vyamlich Malchute, V'chaye Chanu V'yomechon, Uvchaye Dekol Beit Yisroel, Bagala, Bagala, Uvizman Karib, V'yimeru, Amen. Yesh Merabah Mevorach, Le'olam Elal Me'almaya, Yitbarach, 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 Ramam, Yitnaseh, Yitadar, Yitalev, Yitalshemit Kudisha, Rehu, Leilamin Kol Berkata Vishirata, Tuspekata Benekamata, Damiran Bialma Vimru. Amen.
Begin the Amidah together, page 291.
Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, El Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanara, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zorkei Chastei Avod, U'Mevi Goel Livnei V'Nechem, V'man Shemo V'Yahava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Michaim Etim V'Tabra Moshiach, Mashiv HaRuach U'Marit HaGashem, Mechalchel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechayei Meitim B'Rakamim Rabim, Somnei Flofim U'Rpei Cholim U'Matir Asurim, U'Mekayim Emenata L'Shenei Afar, Michamocha Baal Guvrit Omed HaMelach, Melech Meimit U'Machir U'Matzmir Yeshua, V'Nemenata L'Chayot Meitim, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechayei HaMeitim. Mikadeshim Shkavilam, Kashem Shemakdishim V'Tov B'Shmei Marom, Kakatu Vayad Neviyecha, V'Karazeh El Zev Yamar, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzubaot, V'lo Kol Haaretz Kivodo, V'Yumatam Baruch Yameru, Baruch Adonai Mimkamo, U'Breit Kachika Katuv Le'mor, Yimloch Adonai Le'olam, Elochai Tzion, Yudor Vador Alleluia, Yudor Vador Ngan Gigat Lechal, V'Netzach Netzakim Kiddushak Natish, V'Shivchacha Eloheinu Mipiloi Mos Le'olam Va'ed, Yomel Kadol B'Kadosh Atah, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
You're still in your private prayer. Please stay just as long as you need. Otherwise, you can follow along with the Reader's Full Cottage on page 300.
Yitgadav Yitgadash Shemei Rabbah, V'amadi Rakutei, V'amlik Makutei, V'chayikon V'yimekon, V'chayed Kol Beit Yisrael, V'agalav V'zman Kariv Yimru Amen. Yehesh Shemei Rabbah Mevorak Le'olam Omer Maya, Yitbarak V'yishtabak V'yitbar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar V'yitalev V'yital Shemei Kudusha Brechu, Le'olam Min Kol Berchata V'shirata, Tishbechata V'nechemata, Damiran B'yama, Yimru Amen. Yitgabes Lachon V'chon L'Kol Beit Yisrael, Kadam Levon Divi Shmaya V'yimru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemai V'chaim Alina V'yal Kol Yisrael V'yimru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mramav Hu Yafeh Shalom Alina V'yal Kol Yisrael V'yimru Amen.
Lady is on page 301. Any volunteers?
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, la'atei gdila le'etzer reshit, shelo asanu kugoye haratzot, velo samanu k'mishbehot hadama, shelo samhalkeinu kahem, v'gol aleinu kehol hamonam, v'anachnu korim. Umishkahavim umodim, lifnei melech melchei hamlahim, hakadosh baruch hu, shehu noteh shamayim ve'yoser haaretz, u'moshe v'karo b'shamayim imal, Ushkina tuzo, begave merami. Hu Eloheinu Einot, Emet Malkeinu Efesulato, Kakatu Betorato, Vedatayom, Lamota Elevaveha, Ki Adonai Hu Elohim, Bashamayim Imal, Ve'al Haaretz, Mitahateno. Ve'nemar ve'hayadona, le'melech ha'kol haaretz, Bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, U'shemau echad.
Order Scottish, page 200 and, page 302.
Yitgadal, Yitgadash, Shemei Rabbah, V'alma, Divra, Kirute, V'almich Malkute, V'kayikon, V'yamechon, V'kayed, Kol Beit Yisrael, V'agala, U'vizman Kariv, Yimru, Amen. Yehe Shmei Rabbah, Mevarach, L'olam Ume Almaya, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, Yitpa'ar, V'yitumam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shemei, D'Kudusha, V'rechu, Le'ela, Min Kol Birchata, V'shirata, Tusbekata v'nechemata, Damiran v'yama v'imru, Amen. Yehe Shlam Rabba min Shemaya, v'chaim alenu, v'al kol Yisroel v'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom v'mramav, v'yaseh Shalom, alenu v'al kol Yisroel v'imru, Amen.
Please turn back to page 11. Lechu neranena l'Adonai, Nariya letzor yishenu, Nekadma fanav betoda bizmirot, Nariya Abrahim shana kot bedor, V'omar am toel levavhem v'hem ne'udu derachai, Asher nishbati v'api, im yavon amanuchati. Pages 13 and 14. Shiro l'Adonai, shir chadash, Shiro l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiro l'Adonai baruch Shema, Basro meyam leyam Yeshuato, Sapro v'goyim kevoda, B'chol ha'amim nifleotav, Ki gadol Adonai, Holal me'od, Norahu, Al kol Elohim, ay, Ki kol Elohei ha'amim melilim, V'Adonai shamayim asa, Hada v'hada lefanav, Oz v'tiferet b'mikdasho, Havul Adonai mishpechat amim, Havul Adonai kavod va'oz, Havul Adonai kavod shema, Zehu mincha, V'olechatzrotav, ay, Ishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh, Dilo mipanav kol haaretz, Imru v'agoyim, Adonai malach, Alti konteva,
Baltimot. Yadinamim b'meisharim, Yadinamim b'meisharim, Yismechu hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz, Yiram hayam, Omelo, ay, Yahalo sadai v'chol asher bo, Az Yerannenu kol atzayar Lifnei Adonai ki hiva lishpat haaretz Yishpat tevel betzedek Ve'amin be'emunata Adonai malach kagel haaretz Yismechu imavim and avravasivav Ohav Adonai sinura, shomer nafshot chasidav, mirashim yatzileim. Or zerat tzadik ulishreilef, simcha tzadikim b'Adonai, v'adu lezecher kodsho. Pages 17 and 18. Mizmar shel nashir chadash, ki nefot asa hashilim and ozer kodsho. Lifnei Adonai kiva lishpat haaretz yishpat tava betzedek v'yamin b'meisharim. Pages 19 and 20. Adonai malach yirgazu amim yoshev kiruvim tanut haaretz Adonai b'tzion gadol v'rokolim. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'yishtachavo lahar kodsho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Page 21, it's comfortable, traditional to rise. Mizmor LaDavid, Avol Adonai b'nei Elim, Avol Adonai kavod va'oz, Avol Adonai kevod shema, Yishtachavu Adonai behadrat kodesh, Kol Adonai hamayim, El hakavod hirim, Adonai Mayim Rabim, Kol Adonai Bakoach, Kol Adonai Behadar, Kol Adonai Shover Arazim, Vashaber Adonai Tarzei Havanon, Vayarkidehem Kemo Egel, Levanon Vesiryon, Kemo Ven. Kemaven re'emim, Kol Adonai chotzev lahavotesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yachol alayalot, Vayachasaf ye'arot, Uvechala kol Amen kavod. Vayeshev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai os ve'amo yitain, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. We invite the Rosebounds and anyone in that agree with them to come light our Shabbat candles. Amen. We may be seated. We continue page 23 with Lechadodi. Lechadodi likrakala pene Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrakala pene Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad hishmi'anu El hameyuchad Adonai echad Shemo echad Shemo tiferet v'helitila v'hechadodi likrakala pene Shabbat nekabela likrat Shabbat lecho v'nelcha ki mekor haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha sof maaseh b'mashavat chila lechadodi likrakala pene Shabbat nekabela mikdash melech ir melucha kumitzei mitoch hafecha ravalach shevet be'em kabacha v'hu yachamo alayichem la lechadodi likrat kahala pene Shabbat nekabela hitna ari me'afar komi lipshi bigdei tifar techami al yad ben yishai beit halachmi karva el nafshi ge'ala lechadodi likrat kahala pene Shabbat nekabela Hitoreri kiva orech komi uri shir daberi kavod Adonai alayich nigla lechadodi likrat kahala pene Shabbat nekabela lo tevoshi velo tikami matish tochachi Umatahemi bach yechesu aniye ami venibneta iratila lechadodi likrat kahala pene Shabbat nekabela v'hayulim shisa shasayich v'rachat kukol mevalayich yasisalayich Elohayich Kim soskatan akala lechadodi likrat kahala pene Shabbat nekabela yaminu small tifrotzi ve'et Adonai taritzi al yad ish ben tartzi ben yismecha venagila lechadodi likrat kahala pene Shabbat nekabela Boi b'shalom ateret bala gala b'simcha Odet sahala tov emunet am seula Boi hala lechadodi likrat kahala pene Shabbat. As we enter Shabbat, we welcome into our midst those who are coming to us from place of mourning. First, we welcome Ellen Katz, coming from Shiva for our beloved mother Lillian, and we also welcome Carol Wilk, and also we have in mind Mark Lawson. I got that first. And we have in mind also his brothers who are already on their way back to their community. Please, everyone, join me in offering the traditional words of consolation. Please repeat after me. Hamakom, Yenachem, Tov, Sha'ar, Abele, Tzion, Yerushalayim. We pray that God comfort each of you amongst all of the mourners of Zion. May be seated. Page 27. Mizmor shir Yom HaShabbat. Tov le'odot l'nazar shel Yom Tzadikata Mar Yifrach Erez Bavanan Yitzgat Shetolim Behevet Adonai Bechatzrot Eloheinu Yafrichu Ad Yenovan Beseva Deshenim Merananim Yeyo Lehagid Ki Ashar Adonai Tzori Velo Avlataba. Page 29. Adonai Malaku Lavesh Lavesh Mikolot Maim Rabim Adirim Mishperayam Adir Bamaromanai Erotechem Neomeod Levet Chanav Kodesh Adonai Leorech Yamim. And on this Shabbat, we are remembering those who passed away at this season of the year. We are remembering Gerald Charnas, Fanny Fisher, Hilda Goodelman, Stuart Handelsman, Robert Hirschfield, Martin Pollack, Abraham Ryder, Abraham Rubin, Marcus Tiemann, Howard Wasserloff, Boris Zeta, Rose Ziki, Sidney Chaplin, Hyman Fogel, David Haver, Sylvia Kasten, Neil Moskowitz, Emil Soren, Jack Bennick, Brenda Feldman, Jack Friedman, Stanley Klarman, Deborah Krotenberg, David Passoff, Joseph Perlman, Isaac Skolnick, Rachamim Alzeda, Julius Cohen, Annette Gorvey, Erwin Greenbaum, Beth Rose, Harry Herman, Fanny Hershenson, Louis Walter, Maxine Anderson, Sally Dvoretsky, Helen Fish, Shira Kansas, Mark Sloan, Harry Will, Coraline Black, Eunice Drazen, Janice Blumberg, Henrietta Schumann, Roberta Valentine, H. Gregory Alexander, Ida Asher, Sarah Einstein, Esther Fasser, Lila Frankfurt Phillips, Max Liebman, Hilda Weissman, Geraldine Abrams, Bernard Cohen, Celia Cohen, John Freed, Jackie Granith, George Kaufman, Josiah Lessner, Murray Lipinski, June Morgenstern, Toby Perlman, Jack Selger, Renee Schub, Rabbi Max Weitz, Ruth Leah Udelson, and Mark Zoroff. We'll keep all those names in mind. And please rise to support our mourners, page 30. Yikadal, Yikadash, Neirabah, Ve'alma Dibrach Yerute, Ve'amlich Malchute, V'chayechan V'yamechan V'chayeh V'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala Ubizman Kariv V'maru Amen. Yehei Shmer Abba Mavorach, Le'elam Omeomaya. V'barach, V'ishtabach, V'pa'ar, V'romam, V'naseh, V'tadar, V'talev, V'talal, Shmei Kudusha, Brichu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiram bi'alma v'mramein. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya v'chaim, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'maru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'maru, amen. You may be seated. All right. Friends, Shabbat Shalom, welcome. It is great to have some familiar faces, blasts from the past, with us. So this Wednesday was a complicated day for me. I actually had the experience of being supposed to be in 4 places at once. So in theory, I was going to be studying at Yeshivat Hadar in a professional development program. And I got a call. There were 2 losses in our community, and we somehow managed that I was at 2 funerals at almost exactly the same time. But there was another place that I actually very much wanted to be that I could not be. So this Wednesday was the 29th anniversary of the passing of 2 of my friends, Matt Eisenfeld and Sarah Duker. And there was a day of study, an afternoon of study held in their memory at JTS in New York, the Beit Midrash, the place of study dedicated in their memory. And when I say the date of their passing, I really should say actually the date of their murder. It was February 1996. It was the 5th of Adar. They had just gotten engaged, and they got on a bus in Jerusalem on their way to go celebrate their engagement. And everyone on that bus was killed. And the man who planned that bombing, named Mohammed Abu Warda, ultimately was captured and given 45 life sentences. So if you think one of my sermons is long, 45 life sentences is even longer by a little bit. But he was released early, not for good behavior, on February 8th of this year, as one of several hundred terrorists who were released for 3 Israelis who had been kidnapped on October 7th. And the deal was that he was supposed to be exiled to Egypt, but he was alive and well and looking happy at the ceremony, the festival that was held when the bodies of the Bibas family were being returned. And so I always hate to bring us into Shabbat on a down note, but I mention it because this is actually a Shabbat where we wrestle with the question of how we process dangerous, difficult memories, and really how we respond when we deal with a threat that we are not sure what to do with in the long term. So this week, and you're going to read it tomorrow, Hannah. This is your reading. We read, remember what Amalek did to you on your journey after you left Egypt. They were undeterred by fear of God. They surprised you on the way. You were famished. You were weary. They cut down the stragglers in your rear. And so therefore, when God grants you safety from all of your enemies around you, you have to blot out their memory. Do not forget. And so we read this extra portion this week because, in fact, we are told that a few generations later, the Israelites attempted to carry out this commandment. They did fight a war with Amalek, and King Saul, not the wise king, the other one, left King Agag alive, and King Agag ended up being the ancestor of Haman, the villain of the Purim story. So in essence, by even leaving one of Amalek alive, I mean, as it turned out, we get to spin groggers and eat hamantashen and drink, so it all worked out for the best. But it's an unusual commandment because every other enemy that we face, there is an out, right? So if you besiege a city, the Torah tells us, you're actually supposed to give them a chance to surrender. And in fact, you are supposed to give them the opportunity, they pay you tribute, and the first option is peace. Not so with Amalek. And so the question is, what's so different about this one nation? And so one is that many of our other biblical enemies attacked out of fear, right? The Egyptians oppressed us bitterly, but because they were afraid of us, right? The Canaanites, we fought wars with them because they're like, you're coming to take our land. Right? The Moabites attacked us because you're passing through and we don't want you passing through. The Amalekites, we had already passed. They're attacking after we're already on our way out. And so there are a lot of debates historically as to what this is all about. But I want to point out to you sort of where I am sitting with this text this year. And so some people see Amalek as symbolic of all of the enemies of Jews ever. Others saying, no, this is one particular group. But where we are at this moment is, so the negotiations for the release of the remaining Israelis who are held, 25 who are alive, and the remains of 34, 35 who are being held, are currently on hold as far as I know, last I heard. There's sort of debates in the media. And so if you've seen the hostages who've been released, they look pretty bad. There was a video that was released today of one who is still being held, a propaganda video, and you can see what has been done to him in his over 500 days in captivity. Mr. Abu Warda looked pretty good on his way out. And so there's a couple of ways that this text can lead us to think about this situation. So there are some in Israel who said, Zachor et asher asa lecha Amalek. There are some enemies whom it is too dangerous to let live. So Israel famously has the death penalty, but only really for Nazi war crimes. For anything else, we can give you as many life sentences as you want. But that's all. And so there are some who say that maybe if someone is involved in multiple murders, that the penalty should be death, because then there's no incentive, right? There's no incentive to take hostages to release someone who's being held in jail. And so there, because after all, the person who planned October 7th was himself released in exchange, one of 1,000 prisoners released for Gilad Shalit. So one view is perhaps that there are some enemies that it is too dangerous to leave alive, or it's sort of not worth it because of the risk. And so that's one way to read this text. And look, in our own country, debates about the death penalty go on. There are some states that have it, some that don't, right? Which I suppose reflects a lot of different questions about what we mean by that. Another view is that the idea of wiping out Amalek and wiping out Zecher Amalek, wiping out, is to wipe out the remembrance of that people, which is, it's not necessarily about the people itself, but that there is a way of existence, there is a mode of conflict, there is a way of thinking about the enemy that is associated with Amalek, and that is what needs to be wiped out. So that it is not necessarily about wiping out the particular people, but it is about wiping out a particular kind of strategy of conflict. And by the way, that's true whether that strategy exists in the enemy, or even, I would dare say, eradicating it within ourselves. That if we are tempted to go after the weak, if we are tempted to attack unprovoked, that we have to rethink our strategy. And so as we come to Shabbat Zachor, this is a Shabbat that I wrestle with for 29 years now. I've wrestled with how to process this Shabbat. What does it mean to know that there's an enemy who attacked and murdered the innocent and has the chance to go free? And to think about what means are appropriate, what means are necessary, what means are godly to respond to such a situation. And every year I continue to wrestle. And so the debate continues. Are there some enemies that are so evil that they cannot be allowed to live? Or is it about remembering ourselves not to be brought into strategies that resemble those of those who we do not wish to resemble? Shabbat Shalom. Continue now with the Mariv service, page 39A. Please rise for the bar through the formal call to worship.
Hamavora.
Baruch Chaim Baruch.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. You may be seated. Ma'avir yom u'mebi lailo, ma'avdil ben yom u'ben laila Adonai tzavot shemo, el chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Hamari v'aravim. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael. V'avat chal tasir memenu l'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Page 41. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. והיין שמו. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת ואמונה כל זאת וקיים עליכם. ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל לכנו שירה בשמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף פלא. מלכותך רובנך בוקר ים לפני משה, זה עלינו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו ימד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום. ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים. Please rise as you're able. Page 46. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות מרית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות מרית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. יקרא ויקרא שמי רבה, ועמד יברכותי וימליך מלכותי מחייכון, וביום אחד ובחיי דרכו בית ישראל. בגלה בגלה, ובזמן קריב יאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ועלמיא. Yiparach, vishtabach, vipar, vitomam, vitnase, vitadar, vitale, vitalal, shemed kudasham, barichu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, dushbechata v'nechemata, damiram be'alma, v'yimeru. Amen. We continue individually, pages 47 to 52. If you're in personal prayer, please continue. We'll meet on page 53. ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויכל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Koneh Shamayim v'Haaretz Magen Avot bidvaro Mechaye Meitim b'ma'amaro Ha'el HaKadosh Shein Kemo Hameniach le'amo B'yom Shabbat Kodsho, Kivam Ratza Le'aniach Lahem, Kivam Ratza Le'aniach Lahem, Lefanav Navod B'yirav Hafachad, V'nodeh Lishmo B'chol Yom Tamid, Me'od HaBerachot, El Ahod Ahod, Adon Shalom, Mekadesh HaShabbat, Umavarech Shevi, Umeniach B'Kedusha, Le'amedu Shnei Oneg, Zecher L'Maaseh, L'Maaseh V'Reishit. Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, Ritzei V'Menuchatenu, Kadeshenu b'mitzvotecha, v'tein chelkenu b'toratecha, sabenu mituvecha, v'samechenu b'yeshuatecha, v'taher libenu, le'ovdecha be'emet, v'hanchilenu, Adonai Eloheinu, be'ahava uvratzon, Shabbat Kodecha, v'yanuchu v'Yisrael, Mekadeshei Shemecha, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Yikra v'yikra Shemei Rabbah, Ve'alma nivra kute v'yamlich malchute b'chayachona v'yachona b'chayachol beit Yisrael b'agalav izman kari v'yimeru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach le'alamo ve'omaya. Yibarach v'yishtabach v'par v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalel shmei dekudusha barichu le'elam min kol birchatav v'shirata tishbechatav v'nechemata damiram v'yalma v'yimeru. Amen. Tikabal soton v'oton dechol Yisrael kodamo v'hondi v'shmaya v'yimeru. Amen. Yehi shlama Rabba ben Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav v'yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen. If you like grape juice, you can come join me up here. Small, under the age of 12, or an adult. Never. The Peter Pan of Kiddush. Come, come, come. Yeah. You guys can each take one. Savri, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava v'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, Mikol amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'bratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashava. And if you know Aleinu, you're welcome to stay with me.
Oh.
Yeah, come this way. We didn't know you'd be right in the perfect spot. There you go.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol latekedula lerotzeh reshit shelo asanu kegoyim haratzon velo samanu kemishpachot adama shelo samhalkenu kahem vegoralenu kehol hamonam ve'nachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim Ifnei melech malchei hamavim hakadosh baruch shehu notei shamayim beyotzei haaretz u'Moshe bikaro bashamayim imah u'shvinatu zot begabe meromim hu Eloheinu Fesuato, Kakatu, Vetorato, Vedatayo, Behashevota, Elevaveha. Ki Adonai, Bashamayim imah, Ve'oharetz, Yitzhak. Kakatu b'toratecha Adonai le'olam ba'ed v'ne'emar le'haya Adonai le'melech al kol ha'aretz vayom hahu v'yom Shemo
Continue on page 58 with Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Ve'alma divra kirute v'yamlich malchute v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach ve'elamo me'almaya. Yiparach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh V'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalal, Tzimeid Kudusha, Barichu, La'ela, Minko, Birchata, V'shirata, Tushbachata, V'nechamata, Da Miran Be'alma, V'yimru, Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'yimru, Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'yimru, Amen.
All right. May be seated. Announcements like you would not believe. First of all, Mazal Tov to Hannah Rosenbaum, Lauren and Brian, grandparents Cindy and Henry, and Diana and Eric, and also great grandparents Herb and Arlene Bookwald. It's great to have you guys back. On her bat mitzvah tomorrow morning. Unfortunately, we also have condolences to offer to the family of Hirsch Lawson. Recognize his sons Eric, Joe, and Mark and their families. Also recognizing, of course, his beloved partner Carol Wolf, and Josh and Sharon and Adam and Katie and Isaac, Jeremy, Hazel, and Maggie as well. And also condolences to the family of Lillian Ross Weber, recognizing Ellen with us and her husband Dan, Michael Ross and his husband Stephen, and also recognizing Erica and Greg Lewis, Ryan and Elizabeth Katz, Gabrielle and Harrison, Brady Oliver, and James. Some things coming up. Starting this week, there is an important election in the Jewish world. The World Zionist Congress will decide how much of the money that we send to Israel is allocated. See email to find out how you can make a difference by voting. Or next Saturday morning, our guest all the way from Israel will be Yitzhar Hess, who will talk to us about why this matters and how we can make a difference. Beginning on Sunday evening, minyan will be mincha only, and also beginning next Friday evening, Friday night services will be sticking at 6:30 for a while. So there you go. Let's see. B'nai Torah Women's Rosh Chodesh is going to be Sunday, March 9th, and there's also be a film with the film festival that they are doing. Purim is coming. So it's on Thursday night. We'll start with a carnival at 6 for all ages. Megillah reading and sing-along is at 7:15 with adult drinks and desserts to follow. Friday, there are multiple Megillah readings and laugh and learn and lunch. And then Friday night, there's an Echad event that's for families with kids under 5 or 5 and under. Is that the age-ish? 6 and under, even better. And then there'll also be a last chance Megillah reading at 6 leading into evening services. And there will be another chance for adult beverages at that last chance Megillah reading. And whatever event you come to, please bring matanot levunim. Please bring money to help support people in need. The Weber School's house band, Broken Glass, which includes 3 members of B'nai Torah, is doing a concert benefiting Kibbutz Nir Oz and Kibbutz Nachal Oz, beginning with Havadi. And I'm pleased to report an anonymous donor has offered a $50,000 challenge grant to help them get to a total of $100,000 raised. So if you would like to sponsor this event, it's for a good cause, and the music is actually quite easy to listen to. So let's see. On March 16th, Club 345 and Junior High have some great things going on. 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders have a silent disco and lunch. 3 p.m., our middle schoolers are going to All Fired Up Pottery. And then March 28th and 29th, Rabbi Bright.
This March 28th and 29th is Women's Shabbat. If you weren't there last year, it's an opportunity for the whole service, the preaching, the leading, the Torah reading to be done exclusively by women. We have mostly all of the slots filled, but if you are a woman in our congregation who would like to participate, I would be delighted to find a place for you. Also, new this weekend, we're trying to honor the many women who have built this community or built our own individual Jewish lives, who maybe are not here to participate or maybe don't like performing publicly, by making a gallery of the women of B'nai Torah in the lobby. So if you would like to submit a woman to have her picture and story be posted in the lobby, all of that's in our newsletter and online.
And finally, if you have been to Kroger, you know that Passover is coming. And so we have a congregational Seder, a Steak and Spirits men's Seder, And there are early bird opportunities to pre-register for those at a lower rate. So get in now while the getting's good. There's a women's seder, there's a chocolate seder, all kinds of great stuff. Just a reminder, tomorrow morning services are at 9. And tomorrow evening mincha study will begin at 6, study to follow, and then Maariv and Havdalah ending up around 7:30. So those are the things. So we will finish up with Shalom Aleichem and Hamotzi. If you are guests of the Rosenbaum family, there's a place for you to go and have dinner. If you are not guests of the Rosenbaum family, we still have challah for you. All right. Shalom
Aleichem, Malachei Asharim, Mi melech malachei hamelachim hakadosh baruch hu. Boechem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamelachim hakadosh baruch hu. Barchuni l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamelachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Zeitchem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamelachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Yershut, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Bye.